10, 10, 12. Alright, what is up everyone? I'm Stephen L. Smith, and today I'm going to be talking about something crazy that I tried. I did all of Athlean-X's 22-day challenges in the same 22 days. Now, I didn't do 22 days to bigger muscles, and I didn't do 22 days to better posture, but they kind of overlap everything anyway, so I stuck with these ones. Now, kind of why I did this is, I've never seen this before. I've never seen anybody do any of these. I was going through YouTube the other day. I tried the 22 days to bigger arms. I got about halfway through and kind of lost motivation. But then I was kind of looking through all of the other challenges that Athlean had done, and I thought, well, maybe I'll do all of them at the same time. Sounds like a good idea, right? You probably thought of that. Anyway, nobody's that crazy to want to do all of them at the same time, but I decided I would give it a shot so that you guys don't have to, unless it's really good, and in which case we're going to find out here. So the first one is 22 days to a bigger chest. So that was about push-ups. He said that you could do whatever your max push-up was at the beginning of the 22 days, you'd add 50% to that by the end. On the second one, we have double your max pull-ups. It's exactly how it sounds. Start with 10 and you end with 20, whatever it is. And then we have the bigger arms, 22 days to bigger arms. That one's a great one. We have 22 days to a six-pack. Now he does say at the beginning that, if you're a kind of a flabbier person with high percentage of body fat, you're not going to have those abs showing at the end of the 22 days. But the main point of these 22 days is to set up a habit anyway. In 22 days, it's not a very long time, so it's really to develop the habits. Next, we have 22 days to a flat stomach. Same idea as the six-pack. They kind of overlap, but I watched the two of them and I decided that they can kind of work hand in hand. The flat stomach one, and then last year, number 6, 22 days to stronger legs. Now this is not Athlean-X's challenge. This is my own personal challenge that I added. I tried to make it Athlean-X style because I was looking for a full body program. If I'm going to cut off all my regular workouts, then I want to have legs in there. Legs are very important. And this is all just upper body, so I created my own program. We'll talk about that later and see how that goes. So going into this challenge, I kind of knew that I would be really challenging myself. 6 different things in 22 days is a lot. 22 days isn't that much time, so I really had to pack in a lot of work. And I kind of knew that the results may be suboptimal because I'm not going to have any rest. It's 22 days straight, right? If you guys have watched any of Athlean's challenges, you know that it's 22 days straight. So there's no rest. Anyway, we're going to talk about my results right away. I'm not going to leave you hanging. And then we're going to go through a few different other things that I've experienced. Okay, so now we're on to the measurements. So I measured everything before. I also have some pictures, so I'll put those up. But I have my starting measurements. So I did my biceps, biceps and triceps, upper arm. My right bicep was 14.5 inches. My left was 14.25 inches. A little discrepancy because I'm right-handed. My chest was at 39 inches. My stomach was 34 inches. So, nothing spectacular there. Now, to be fair, before I started these 22-day challenges, I have been working out a lot, and I've been working out since I was 11, and now I'm 22, so I've been pretty consistent. But the week leading up to it, I didn't do much. I took a whole week rest because I knew that these 22 days were going to be brutal. So these numbers might be a little bit lower than what they could have been, but this is exactly what it was. And then I had my first testing day for the push-up challenge, so the bigger chest. And just so you guys know, I'm going to be doing a full video on each of the 6 challenges, so make sure you subscribe and then you can see all those when I release them. Okay, but push-ups. On the first day, I managed to do 50 in a row. Pretty good, I'd say. I'll have a video up. You can see it in the other video as well. My first pull-ups day, I did 18, and 18 is pretty good for pull-ups. In his example, in the video example, he talks about starting with 10 and then doubling that to 20. Now if I were to double 18, that'd be 36 pull-ups. And you know, right off the bat I knew that was a pretty pretty crazy promise. For anybody to do 36 pull-ups, let alone to get there in 22 days, that's quite something. We'll talk about what I actually did in a moment. And the last one was the squat. So this is my own program. You know, I've never done it before. It was kind of like an experiment, really. But I wanted to test my max squat at the beginning, and then I was going to test it again at the end. And I managed to start with 175 kilos. Now I am an Olympic weightlifter, so I do the snatch and the clean and jerk. So I've been squatting a long time, and so my squat is, it's decent. Alright, so now let's talk about the results. Alright, so the end measurements. For my biceps, after 22 days, so 22 days of doing the bigger arms and also the pull-ups, I'm sure they would both work with that, and then the push-ups as well. You know, it's 3 things in 22 days to really grow the arms. So I actually had amazing results with this. It was crazy. So I started at 14.5 inches and I finished with 14.9 inches. Okay, I'm going to put up a little video here of me getting measured, and you can see clearly on the tape that I am now 14.9 inches, 15, 14.8, something like that. Then my left bicep is a similar idea. So I started at 14.25 and I finished at 14.6, give or take. That's huge. 22 days, that's 3 weeks, guys. And then the even crazier one was the chest. So the chest is from all the push-ups, and I started at 39 inches and I managed to finish with 42. Now adding 3 inches onto your chest in 22 days is pretty surreal. So maybe there was some kind of measurement error in the beginning to the end. I mean, 3 weeks to add 3 inches, that's pretty crazy. Anyway, moving on. Onto the stomach. So this would be the flat stomach and also the abs. Now the big thing with the flat stomach is to train the pelvic floor and then also your transverse abdomini, which is like your weight belt. So basically allowing you to suck in, and that's how you flex it. Now I wasn't flexing in the video, but that's kind of how it tenses up your stomach. Anyway, I started at 34 inches, and this is right around the belly button. You can see in the video. And now I finished with 32.9 inches. Give or take. Might be generous. Alright, so that's pretty damn good. I added 3 inches on my chest and I took off 1 inch on my stomach in 22 days. Crazy. But it's going to be about the work, and we're going to talk about the work and all the stuff that I had to do in the next section. But for the push-ups, so I started at 50, and the promise was to add 50% to that, so that would be 75. And over the 22 days, I actually did manage to hit that goal. I ended with 75 push-ups in a row. Alright, I'm going to put up a video of that, and I'm going to speed it all the way up so you can see. 70, 5 more. Nice. 74, 75. Nice. And then for the pull-ups, so I was supposed to go for 36. The minimum promise was to add 50%, so that would have been 27. But I did all the work. I did everything I was supposed to. And I still added a few reps, which is pretty great. I managed to get to 23.5. You can see the video that I really tried for that 24th rep.
Come on, dude. Nice, that's good. 23. Okay. 23 and 3/4.
And I'm going to give myself a half point because I earned it. And now the last one was the squat. So like I said, it was an experiment. I didn't really know what I was doing. But I started at 175 and I managed to add 1 kilo, which is no small thing. Now for those of you who don't know, 182 kilos is 400 pounds, and that was my final attempt. I was really hoping to get that. I'm going to put that in the video here. You can see I didn't quite make it.
Go, champ.
I managed to hit a 175 squat 4 times in the 3 weeks, and that was an all-time record for me anyway. And I've been through lots of knee injuries. Be able to hit those big lifts without hurting my knee again is really great. My knee feels great, by the way. So now let's talk a little bit about the downside. You've already seen the crazy benefits. I mean, in 22 days, to have numbers like this, to add to your push-ups, to have your chest get 3 inches wider. You're going to see the before and after pictures as well. You know, it's really crazy. 22 days is not that long. So what did I have to do for that? Well, this 22 days has been brutal. It's been really brutal. I've been working out like a full-time job. I had to split it up into a morning workout and a night or an afternoon workout. So in the morning I would do my flat stomach, I would do my abs, and I would do my push-ups. So the bigger chest, abs, and flat stomach. All in the morning. That took about an hour to an hour and a half. As the challenge goes on, everything kind of ramps up and gets harder. So near the end of the challenge, it's taking me much longer than the first time. Now we're going to talk about the timeline in a minute. And then in the second part of my workout, I would be in the gym, or actually first I'd do my pull-ups, and then I would be in the gym doing my squat work, whatever that would have been on the day, and then my arms training. Okay, and this is every single day. And that second workout would also take about an hour and a half. So it's about 2 hour-and-a-half workouts every day for 22 days straight. Now there's a couple rest days in my squat program, and there's 1 rest day per week in the Get Bigger Arms program. But for the push-ups, the pull-ups, the abs, and the flat stomach, no rest. Brutal, 3 to 4 hours every single day, and I was sore the whole time. So to kind of break it down, the first few days were actually really tough, because you max out your push-ups, you max out your pull-ups, you max out your squat. You do the first ab workout, which isn't too bad, but you know, if you're out of shape, it's gonna hurt. By 4, 5, 6, 7, you're getting really used to it. It gets quite a bit easier. And the first week generally isn't too tough, because you know, the whole thing is ramping. So then the second week, the first half is still pretty easy. Well, the first half is still reasonable. You know, you're getting through it, you're not too sore, your body's adapting. But then by the second half of that second week, everything is really starting to add up. You're getting tired. You've maxed out your push-ups and pull-ups 3 or 4 times already. And you know, you're squatting more, you're lifting more. Your ab workout is taking much longer. I'm going to do a whole video on the ab thing, and you'll see how it ramps up so quickly and really takes a bunch of time. So by the second half of that second week, you're really feeling it. And then comes along the third week. Oh, that third week is brutal. Really, the last 10 days are just so tough. And that's half the challenge, right? So being able to stick with that, you know, I'm getting fatigued, my chest is so sore, my biceps are sore, my triceps are sore, I'm doing all these different things, my back, my legs, my core, and I'm feeling it all. And now those last 10 days are really brutal. Until you get to the final couple of days, and then you can see the light at the end of the tunnel, and you know, you're almost there. So a couple of takeaways, some things that I really liked. Well, first of all, the results. The results can speak for themselves. I mean, that's incredible. Adding a ½ inch to your biceps in 22 days. And this program's got some merit to it. The bigger arms one, I definitely recommend that. But another part is just 22 days of doing something every single day. Building that discipline, you know, developing those habits. That's huge. I really like that about it. Doing abs in the morning, I like that. I think that's a great way to start the day. The flat stomach thing was really good. and I think it developed my core strength and my lower back, and I can feel that I can suck in further, so when I'm putting on the weight belt for a big squat, I can really tighten it up, and also I have more strength in my back to, keep my back upright. So in conclusion, would I recommend doing 6 challenges in the same 22 days? No, that's a lot. That's really a lot. Unless you're doing nothing, which, it's COVID right now, so it would be a good time, especially if you have a home gym. You can try doing 22 days, but honestly, it took so much time. I was just always tired. I don't recommend doing all of it in the same 22 days. With that being said, you can kind of, remix it. So what I would do now that I've already done it, I would do push-ups and pull-ups. I would pair those 2 together. So in 22 days, I'd only do 2 out of the 6. And if you wanted to do more, you could do those 2 on one day, and then the next day you can have the squat and the abs or something. And then you have alternating days. So now it's not a 22-day thing, but it's a 44-day thing. So stuff like that. I wouldn't do all 6 in the same 22 days unless you're crazy like I am. But you can still do all the challenges, maybe one at a time. One at a time would probably give you the best results because you would have optimal rest and it would be set up just right. Alright, so to sum it up, 22 days, I made huge gains. Huge gains in 22 days. 75 push-ups in a row, I'm quite proud of that. That was great. Adding the size to my chest and making my stomach smaller, that's huge. Getting bigger arms, that's amazing. I mean, what else can you ask for a 22-day program? I mean, the shortest program normally is like 30 days, and even then, you're not guaranteed any results. A 90-day program or a full year is more typical. So in the end, it was great. I had fun doing it. It was a real challenge at the end, but I kind of liked that challenge. And I also had to do a bunch of recovery to make sure that I wasn't injuring myself. Stretching, ice baths, really solid diet. Diet's huge. I'm going to talk about that in another video. And again, before I go, I'm going to make a full video on bigger chest, bigger arms, double pull-ups, all of them. I'm going to make a full video on all of them. I'm going to talk about my rest. I'm going to talk about my daily routine, how I got all my workouts in every single day. And that's it for this one. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you subscribe to see the rest of the videos and get a full in-depth look at everything I did in this challenge. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.